Good evening, everyone. My name is Sehlah. I'm a sophomore biochemistry student from Stevenson University, and I'm going to talk to you guys about something that happened on October 6th at 9:30 p.m. I called home, and my mother picked up, and we had this conversation, and I told my mother that I was not coming home. She looked at me. Well, she didn't look at me. She said a few things I can't say, and basically, the reason why I didn't come home started with the fact that I was born in Pakistan, I was raised as a Muslim, and I became an American. And so these three identities have prescribed codes of conduct, tacit rules of behavior, and frequently burdensome expectations. Never have these three elements of myself been more in conflict than now, with countless voices crying out, trying to decide what it means to be a good Muslim or even a real American. And a real American. And as a Pakistani girl, I struggled with a lot. I go to school, but to my culture, oh my gosh, 1 second, I'm sorry. As a Pakistani girl, I'm expected to go to school to earn a degree in order to prove my level of intelligence. However, I was never supposed to use that degree. Rather, I was to marry the man of my parents' dreams, preferably one they have chosen, have children, and spend the rest of my life raising a family and keeping a home. While I do respect the merit of these responsibilities, I cannot accept a culture that believes this is the only suitable life for a woman. Besides, these limitations they do not have their roots in Islam, rather in the culture itself. And as being a Pakistani, I'm also an American. However, America has expectations of me as well. Of course, I have freedom of religion, but don't look too Muslim. Of course, I have freedom to worship, but do you really have to pray right now? And of course, America is a melting pot, but they just aren't like us. And I have often felt like the they and not like the us. Is there a way for me to claim both of my identities? However, there was something else that played a role. Being Muslim, the practice of Islam. On one hand, I had my family who told me how to speak, how to act, and how to dress. And on the other hand, I had people who asked me, why do you oppress yourself? Take that hijab off. Show the world how beautiful you really are. Oh my gosh. In short, Muslim brothers and sisters would criticize me on either not being properly covered or being too devout. How was I supposed to fulfill the expectations of each of these elements in my life? As I confronted my shortcomings, as I tried and tried again to fulfill these expectations, I was convinced that I was not enough. Not enough of a Muslim, not enough of a Pakistani, and not enough of an American. But then I began to hear those around me. They expect me to publish. They expect me to earn a 4.0. They expect me to solve their problems. They expect me to do this. They expect this and this. I'm like off of my slide right now. Well, I did. I listened to a lot of people around me, and I realized that we all have expectations that are casted upon us either by our family or just society in general. And me, I didn't want to fulfill those expectations, or at least not all of them. And so what I realized from that was we weren't asking the right questions. No one was asking, hey, what do you want to do? Or no one was asking, what do you want to do with your gift, your talent, or your faith? Rarely was anyone saying anything that meant, hey, I know what your expectations of me are, and I just don't want to fulfill them. For me, no one asked me, Sehlah, what do you want as a Pakistani, as an American, as a Muslim? And how will you use your own expectations to build your wider world, your career, and most importantly, yourself? Yes, of course, we have expectations that we fulfill joyfully and others reluctantly. But when those same expectations smother our individuality, silence our inner voice, or even erode our beliefs, it is our duty to question those expectations. And when I did, I didn't know who I was anymore. Deciding to leave my parents' home was the first decision I ever made for and by myself. And it is time we learn as human beings to choose the expectations we wish to fulfill. See, I'm so off. But anyways, fulfill. Because If you have never done so, if you have never fulfilled your own expectations, it will feel as if you don't know who you are. You will be so insecure about yourself in any part or time in your life. I was. But what I learned was how strong I am, how capable I am, how resilient I am to get through it. And I expect you will too. Thank you.